Hello everyone. Today's lesson is about the front angle. We'll start by drawing a sphere. Try to make it as close to perfect as possible. Next, we begin adding the facial guidelines and the slice on it. As you place the lines on the sphere, imagine rotating it through those lines, just like the face in your reference. In this angle, the head is looking forward and slightly downward. How do we know that? Because the nose line is lower, while the ears are positioned higher. That tells us the head is tilted down a bit. Now draw the vertical lines. The straight center line first. Then adjust the horizontal lines. The eyebrow line shifts from the middle. The distance down to the nose line is about 2/3 of half the sphere. After that, draw the two side slices parallel to the center line. This way, we've rotated the sphere on paper in 2D. Now, take the distance of the nose and use the same measurement for the chin. This keeps the proportions of the face balanced and natural. After that, connect the chin to the sphere to create a box-like form attached to the ball, bringing us one step closer to the real structure of the head. The chin line extends diagonally from the side slice and then curves gently at the point where the chin turns and meets the bottom of the sphere, defining the transition between the jaw and the lower part of the head. Next, we'll move on to drawing the ear, which aligns in height with the nose. In the side view, the ear's width appears smaller, and we'll also begin to construct the inner parts of the face, keeping an eye on maintaining the likeness of the model. After completing the right ear, we'll repeat the same steps for the left ear to ensure balance. Now, let's move to the hair. The hair should sit slightly above the sphere of the head, not directly on it. Notice that the hairline starts above the ear, not along the side of the sphere. This is because of the presence of the side plane, or slice, of the head. Next, we'll draw the neck. The neck begins roughly at the end of the eye line, and we'll draw it using straight structural lines. To relate the neck and body to the head, extend two vertical guidelines downwards to determine where the shoulders and clothing will begin. Moving back to the face, the eye line should be drawn in the upper third of the distance between the eyebrow line and the nose line. You'll notice a slight diagonal line on both sides. This represents the change in plane from the forehead to the cheek, giving the face its natural turn. Now let's determine the width of the nose. We do this by marking 2 points that define the outer edges of the nose, measured in relation to the overall width of the face. Then, draw a straight line upward from the inner corner of each nostril to find the tear duct area. This helps you locate the starting point of the eyes accurately. The nose mask consists of 3 main planes, 2 side planes and 1 top or bridge plane, plus a lower surface for the underside of the nose. This structural approach will help you understand how to shade it later. Next comes the mouth. The mouth can be defined by 5 key points. 1. The center point of the upper lip, which sits about 1/4 of the distance from the nose to the chin. 2. The line separating the lips, the midline of the mouth. 3. The 2 corners of the mouth, which define its width. 4. The lower lip, which is usually slightly fuller than the upper lip. After you mark these points, draw the mouth based on this structure. Now we'll start defining the facial features, based on all these reference points. Begin with the nose, since it's the central axis of the face. Start lightly by sketching the nostril opening, then the other nostril, followed by the wings, ala E of the nose. Add a subtle line between the nasal wing and the front cartilage, and also indicate the upper cartilage to give the nose a believable structure. Finally, mark the small bone transition between the forehead and the top of the nose. This small detail makes the nose feel naturally connected to the rest of the face. Understanding the anatomy of the nose helps you later when you start shading and defining light and shadow. Next, let's draw the mouth. Start from the line separating the lips. The center point of this line can sit slightly above or below the middle, depending on whether the head is tilted upward or downward. In our example, the face is looking downward, so that center point will be positioned lower. Remember, the mouth wraps around the cylindrical shape of the head, so the midline of the lips should follow that curved contour to show the volume of the face. Now we'll draw the eyes. Place the eyeball on the eye line, slightly away from the tear duct, leaving space to represent the caruncle the small pink area at the inner corner. Keep in mind that the width of the nose is always narrower than the width of the eye, since many artists tend to exaggerate the size of the eye. It's important to be careful here. Add a small slice or cross-section to indicate the higher side of the eye on the far side. This shows that the head is turning and the forms are rotating in space. Keep your drawing sequence organized and consistent. Following this order helps you build the head structurally and maintain balance between all features. And that's it for today's drawing. We started from a simple circle and built the entire structure step by step, just like Loomis taught us. By understanding the head as a set of simple volumes, we were able to clearly define the nose block, the mouth and nose plane, and how they fit together on the face. Keep practicing this construction method until it becomes second nature. It's the key to drawing any head from any angle. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll continue mastering the Loomis approach to portrait drawing.